Hi, this is Pat Bruff from Fink & Paris Insurance Agency. Welcome to our podcast, Local and Mighty, the podcast about Massachusetts personal and commercial insurance, mixed in with a little bit of fun. Hello, everyone. It is Pat Bruff here, and welcome to episode 14 of the Fink & Paris podcast, Local and Mighty. And this is our first podcast for 2023. We've been a little reluctant. Actually, I've been a little reluctant. I haven't...
Slacker.
Very much a slacker. I haven't put too many podcasts together over the last few months, and now was as good a time as any, as I like to say. And today's guest, as you may have heard her chime in a little bit, is the owner of Fink & Paris Insurance Agency, Genevieve Bruff.
Hello.
I like to use your Genevieve name every once in a while and mess with people who don't know it's Genevieve versus...
Confuse people.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jen, it's hard to believe. It is March. Today is March 1st of 2023, and we just had our first taste of winter yesterday. We've been pretty lucky about no winter, essentially, since winter started.
I'm very happy with the amount of snow we've gotten so far this year. This is enough for me. So.
Yeah, exactly. If we don't get any more, I'd be pretty much good with that. And supposedly spring is 21 days or 20 days away from today. So we shall see, as they say. So, Jen, we talked a little bit about what we're going to do or what would be a good topic for the podcast to start off 2023. And we both agreed that maybe we should really give our customers some honest answers to what's happening with the insurance rates here in 2023. So what do you think?
I thought that was a great idea, and I'm glad you suggested it. We've been getting a lot of phone calls from our clients over the past few months about the increases that they're seeing on their auto and home policies. And I just thought it'd be a good idea for us to talk about why that's happening, maybe dismiss some myths as to why that's happening, and then really share some data as to why that's happening. I'm a big fan of data, so there's some really good reasons why. Yeah,
and again, it's probably not a very fun topic. Nobody wants to talk about the price of things going up, but
it's happening everywhere.
It's happening everywhere, and we'd rather be honest, and we'd rather have you hear it right from us versus, like you said, guessing or coming up with these myths or, all those little things. So where do you want to start, Jen? Do you want to start with home? You want to start with auto? What's your thoughts?
Let's start with homeowners insurance. That's your home is one of your biggest assets. So that's something you want to make sure you protect at all costs in regards to insurance. And, there's a lot of factors that are causing homeowners insurance rates to go up. I think most of you have noticed and heard around on the news the severe weather we've been having. We've been lucky in the Northeast regarding severe weather right now, knock on wood, but there has been some significant severe weather across the country. Wildfires in Colorado, the winter storm in Texas, Hurricane Ida, and then most recently Hurricane Ian in Florida, where almost $400 billion in losses were incurred. These catastrophes have caused many insurance companies, specifically in Florida, to actually go out of business. But those types of severe weather losses actually affect insurance rates across the country and globally.
Right, and they don't often affect like today, no. Like a storm that happened. Like we have these stats about storms happen in 2021, but it can often be changes in policies that have happened from storms 5-10 years ago, but these things eventually catch up, right?
So when they go to renew their reinsurance contracts, they look at what the losses have been for the past 3 years to determine what they're going to charge them for the next few years. So that's why those losses from a few years ago can still affect rates this year.
Yeah.
Some of the other things that are causing rates to go up, and again, almost everybody has been hearing this on the news, is supply chain issues and the price of materials to reconstruct or build.
Right.
Building material costs have gone up about 26%. And the other problem is that a lot of construction firms are experiencing labor shortages. There's nobody to work.
Right. Which is they're not lucky. They're not the only ones that have this issue.
They're not alone.
Right.
So when you have a homeowner's loss, for example, gone are the days where you could call up your local contractor or fix-it man to say, come, I have to have my bathroom fixed. You're waiting 3, 4, 5 months. And in that 3, 4, 5 months, something could happen where the price of lumber goes up more than anticipated.
Right.
Those things are causing rates to go up also.
Yep.
Some other data out there, newer homes burn 6 times faster, which means a total loss is more likely versus just having a fire in your kitchen that just damages your kitchen.
Right. And we've talked to the local fire department as well, and we've heard them say this before. We've even seen on TV where they do these things where they show, the average, they have one of those rooms, that was constructed in 1987 or whatever it is, and then something that's constructed today, and they put a little fire in the corner, and you see how quickly, fire goes from in the newly built house goes from, you can still see in the room to pitch black in a matter of minutes, if not seconds. Whereas the one in the older construction and the older type of materials, even the couches and stuff like that, they don't burn. The synthetic stuff is not burning as quickly. So it's not, they have a little bit more time to get there to fight the fire versus how quickly it goes now. So again, like you said, that leads to, bigger losses, unfortunately, or a more substantial loss versus, like you said, just your kitchen has a little fire that's contained there, or your garage is contained in the garage versus the entire house. So,
yeah, and again, the cost of everything, that's a big, big part of this. Everything just costs more. We see it at the grocery store. We see it everywhere. So that actually translates into higher claim costs, both on the auto and on the home. So that's a big part of it too. I just saw an article today about that Tanya, our claims coordinator, shared with the whole office about supply chain issues still being a factor in costs. And it's not that, the whole supply chain issue that happened during COVID where the container ships couldn't get here, right. That's changed. That's gotten better, but there's other residual costs as a result of that are still causing prices to stay at an elevated level.
Right. And again, it's going to take time for everything to catch up.
And it will. It's all cyclical. It's always cyclical. Another item that is is because of COVID, a lot of people while they were home during COVID did house projects. Right. I forced you to paint a few doors. We
yes.
didn't, redo bathrooms or kitchens in our home, but a lot of people finished their basements. And they didn't just finish their basements like we did in the, 80s. They put home theaters, wet bars,
right.
kegs,
right.
kegerators. Like they really did it up.
All out because they were going to be stuck there. So
right.
And they figured now's the time.
Right.
Let's do it.
And their backyards and, decks and porches and screened-in porches.
Hot tubs, you name it.
Yeah,
they added it.
Kitchens, everything. People's homes, they really took care of them and they added, and rightfully so. But the costs associated with that have to come into play, too, when you have a loss because you want what you had back. So
Right. Replacement cost. You want to replace.
Right.
You want to get back to whole. That is our goal always when you have a claim is to get you back to whole.
But the whole replacement cost issue is something that we're really working a lot on in the office right now. A lot of our carriers are doing insurance to value projects, which they're going through our book of business and their whole book of business within their company to make sure that homes are insured to value. We do a really good job here at Fink and Paris because we do look at every property we insure. We insure only to 100% replacement cost. We will not play around with that. So we're really confident as to where our insurance to value is. But because of inflation, even though we do such a good job, a lot of those numbers are too low now because inflation has caused everything to cost so much. So we're dealing with a lot of insurance to value projects.
Yeah. And again, as you said, we're working with our customers and our carriers, I should say. So if you are a customer and you see this, huge increase, and if you're with somebody else, you should be asking those questions.
Right. And we get lists every month that we look through. And some of them, I go through them and I go, wow, this is crazy. This is way too much of an increase.
Yeah.
And there are mistakes. So that's why we're checking all of them. But then some of them come through and it's a $60,000 increase in the building limit. And I'm blown away, but it's accurate. It just hasn't been looked at in such a long time that it's really accurate that, you even see that in the real estate market now. What a house I thought would be $250,000 is now $375,000, $400,000, which is great. But all of that comes into play when we talk about, what the value of a house is.
Right. So considering all of those factors, these are some of the things that are causing the rate increases that we're seeing. So what can our customers do, or what are some of the things that people should be doing to try and help mitigate those increases as they see them coming in?
There are a few different things on the homeowner side. I don't think we have there's not as many as there is on the auto side, but we always talk about bundling. You hear it on television all the time.
Every day?
Every day. You are eligible for certain account credits if you have your home and auto with the same carrier. We do have a couple carriers that don't write Massachusetts auto insurance, and they have a very competitive rate. So sometimes you will see that we may not be bundling with the same carrier company, but it's good to bundle within the same agency.
Right.
Because we're looking at your whole package.
Right.
Always.
Right. So you could have, Hanover and Arbella, and I throw those names out there, but you could, in theory, if you're not bundled, still be getting that discount.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. The other thing we talk a lot about is deductibles. When I started in this business in 1994, the standard deductible was $250. Mm-hmm. 15, 20 years later, it went to $500. Mm-hmm. Now we only quote $1,000 deductible.
Right.
If by some chance you still have a policy with a $500 deductible, call us, because the savings could be at least 10%, if not more, depending on the carrier.
Okay.
We do, with every renewal, send a letter out, and if you have a $500 deductible, we give you the option of going to $1,000. It's literally just emailing the office and saying, please change it to $1,000.
Yep.
Those are options.
Yep.
Some of the other discounts out there,
Just to stop you, just so deductibles, like let's give a quick explanation of the deductible and how that works, just for folks that may not quite understand, never had a claim, and what does the deductible mean?
So say you have a pipe freeze in your house, and water damage as a result of the pipe freezing. The pipe freezes, the water goes everywhere. You shut the water off, and you have damage to whatever part of the house that got damaged.
The new finished basement.
Yeah, the new finished basement that you have. So carrier or us goes out there. We assess the damage. You get estimates to repair the damage.
Yep.
Say the estimate is for $10,000.
Okay.
If you have a $1,000 deductible, you will get a check for $9,000.
Okay.
That's oversimplifying it, because there's a lot of parts that go into it. But the deductible, just like with auto insurance, comes off, the total amount of the claim.
Okay, great. Thanks. Yep. So deductibles is one way.
Yep. Another one that we have, a couple of our carriers, so every carrier has different discounts, but the Mass Save Energy Assessment, if you've had that done on your home, where they come in and often they give you a bunch of light bulbs.
Look at the insulation.
Like that.
Yeah.
One of our carriers gives a discount if you do that, so get us a copy of that.
Okay.
The other discount that is out there usually has to do with alarm systems.
Oh.
If you have a central station reporting burglar and fire alarm, there's a discount available on your homeowners.
Okay.
But some carriers give discounts for fire extinguishers, carbon monoxide detectors, a whole house generator.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Water leak detection systems are big.
Yeah.
Again, every carrier, they're very sophisticated and they give discounts for every little thing you have. Others just give a standard one.
Yep.
But those are things you want to really let us know about.
Right.
A lot of people have the Ring camera.
Yeah. Yep.
We don't have many carriers that are giving discounts for that yet.
Yeah.
But that's like a great way to keep track of what's going on in your home when you're not there.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
It's
a good version of an alarm system, if you will.
I had a friend.
They actually have, interestingly enough, you mentioned the water detection system. Ring actually has those water detection things that you can actually buy and put under your sink, put in the basement, put near a hot water pump. Not a hot water, but a sub pump. And if it gets to a certain, level, I think there's a subscription piece to that. But at the end of the day, it's well worth the...
Yes, we are not sponsored by
No,
Ring.
we're not. We're not.
But I had a friend of mine who a couple weekends ago had a pipe freeze in her home on the second floor, and they were 2 hours away, but they had the Ring camera. So they literally watched the water pouring in from the ceiling.
Geez.
They watched the fire department come into the house. But
take care of it, yeah.
That's a great benefit of
it.
Right,
exactly.
You can see everything.
Yeah, exactly. So we talked about deductibles. We talked about the bundling of your homeowner's policy. We talked about some of the Mass Save energy assessments. Is there anything else you can do as far as the homeowners is concerned?
Not really. Again, there's just not as many discounts available on the homeowner side as there is on the auto side.
All right, so let's jump into the auto side. Let's talk about the auto side. What's happening with the rates over there?
So last summer, we started hearing from a few of our different carriers that there was going to be some rate increases. Remember, during COVID in 2021 and a little bit of 22, you saw no rate increase at all.
Right, they were giving
checks.
They were giving checks to folks that weren't driving because they again weren't using it. It was a great thing that they did.
Right, and that turned very quickly around once people started driving again. And the one thing that we keep hearing from our insurance carriers, it's not that there's more accidents, it's the severity of the accident.
Okay.
And we'll talk a little bit about that when we see some of the other reasons why rates are going up. But for some reason, the severity has gone up exponentially. Mm-hmm. Did I say that correctly? I think I did.
You're asking the wrong person.
I know. But that's been the situation. It's the cost of the claim.
Right.
I don't know about anybody listening, but I think people are driving more crazy than ever.
Yes.
We kind of grimace all the time when we're driving and we see these people zooming in and out of traffic.
Yep.
That's causing some pretty severe claims, a lot more fatalities than there ever used to be. But again, with the frequency, not so much of an increase in frequency of losses, but the cost of them.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a lot of new cars on the road.
Right.
The technology in vehicles now, you could almost close your eyes. I don't suggest you do that.
Whatever you do.
Tesla has tried that. It didn't work.
Does not work.
But new cars just yell at you for everything.
Yes. And a matter of fact, I was on my way here from our Florence location, and I wanted to make a turn onto Campus Lane, and the car decided that I was turning too soon as the car was going by and did that whole auto brake thing and just won't let you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So imagine you have this beautiful new car that protects you for all these things. It's got cameras everywhere, auto brake systems, the lane departure warning system.
Yep.
You clip the front of your car on the side of your garage, which I have not done yet. The cost to replace the sensors on the front of your car is crazy.
Yep.
Number one. Number two, getting the parts to replace the front part of your car is crazy. Number three, finding a body shop that has enough employees to schedule the work is crazy.
Yep.
So all those things have just made the cost of repairing a vehicle
much more.
A lot more.
Yeah.
A lot more. And as a result, the severity of claims is going up. The costs of claims are going up, and rates are now going up because of that.
Right. How about distracted driving? People are still distracted. Unfortunately, they are very distracted still. And even with all these newfangled gadgets that are helping you, people are still looking at their phone. They're not paying attention when they should be paying attention. And that continues to be an issue with claims and as reasons for accidents anyway.
Well, absolutely. It's not necessarily even looking at your phone, but if you have one of those screens in your car where you can text messages come through and you have to look over to press the button to read the message.
Right.
And then you see another text message. It's very easy to get distracted in your car now because it does so much for you.
Yep, absolutely.
But, it's just the cost of everything has just gone up. And again, the cost to repair has increased incredibly. Going back to you have an accident and you have to bring your car into the garage to get repaired. You get a rental car.
Yep.
Well, if you're waiting 3 months for a part,
that cost.
The cost of you have rental for only a certain period of time, but you're still using all of your rental.
Right.
Where back, 3-4 years ago, you would only have the car in the garage for a week.
Yep.
And then you'd be on your merry way.
Yeah. Unfortunately. So again, all of these factors are leading to the increase. It's part of the reason why we're seeing the rates, going up. All the carriers. I mean, is it safe to say that pretty much every carrier we write with has asked for an increase for this year?
Every single one.
Every single
one.
Yeah, it's not like it's just these handful of carriers. It's all of them. So all right? So we talked about the homeowners. What are some of the things that you can do to help mitigate this? So let's talk about auto. And yes, the rates have gone up. You noticed you got your renewal. So what are you going to do? What are some of the things that we're doing? What are some of the things that our customers can do?
So again, we'll go back to the bundling. Making sure that you at least insure your car and home with the same agent so we can look at the whole package and make sure you're getting the best rate. We have between 9 and 12 carriers to work with depending on the line of business.
Okay.
So we have the opportunity to look at those 9 or 10 carriers to determine what's your best fit.
Right.
And to be honest, I'm not a fan of moving you from one carrier to another carrier just to save you money.
Okay.
If it's a substantial amount of money, that's one thing.
Right.
If I look at the auto rate and I say, this is crazy, like it's gotten too high or whatever, then I can see moving it. But you earn loyalty credits staying with a carrier.
Okay.
Some carriers you earn deductible dividends.
Yeah.
So you have this, you've been with this certain carrier for 12 years, you have that loyalty credit, you have those deductible dividends. Unless you're saving like a substantial amount of money, it may not always make sense to move it.
Okay.
And if we write both lines of business, we can look at the whole package and see if it makes sense.
Yeah. And again, I think, I'll mention this as we mention this all the time. Every once in a while somebody will call and say, oh, I shopped around and I got another price for this, whatever the dollar amount is. And often I'm like, did you let us shop it around for you? I mean, we know your account. Typically we have customers that have been here for years. So we know their driving history, their who's moved into the house, if they have new student drivers, kid drivers. We know they just bought a house, so they're bundling, they're saving some money here. It's often crazy to me. And again, you said it earlier, we have 9 to 12 different carriers. So when we say we're quoting it out, we're quoting it with 9 to 12 different carriers. You may be just picking up their phone and typing in one of those, national, you're getting one quote, which we're finding very, very often isn't exactly, well, not always, but there are a lot of times that these quotes, some of these larger carriers that you're seeing on TV, they're giving you 6-month quotes and they're cutting the coverage for you. And if you're not paying attention, what you think is you're saving $50, and then you get in an accident and realize, oh, you have a glass deductible now, or this wait a minute, this policy is only 6 months, so of course it looks like it's half of what I'm paying because it's only 6 months. You're not paying the full amount. So some of the things to look for. I know I digressed a little bit there.
That's okay.
As far as the quoting piece,
and I'll just say that please call us.
Right.
We try to look at as many of our renewals as we can. All of our personal lines account managers are tasked with doing renewal reviews. I do renewal reviews. We try really hard to look at every single policy, but we can't always do that. We have so many different people checking, but things do fall through the cracks. So if you get your renewal and you feel that the price went up way too much and there's no reason for it, there wasn't an accident or you moved to another city or something like that, just call us. And I beg you for the opportunity to see if there's anything we can do before you just leave us.
Right.
That's one of the things. There's just other discounts out there. A lot of times we'll tell people they have a $500 collision deductible. Go to a $1,000 collision deductible. That can save you some money.
Right.
Pay in full.
Yeah, the paid in full one is like
between 5 to 10% depending on the carrier.
Right.
And that saves you installment fees. That saves you the headache of worrying about paying a bill every month.
Yeah, and even if you can't, I'm thinking about it, even if you can't pay in full, if you pay a little bit more on each one, at the end, if you're not making, those extra 3 or 4 payments, I mean, that could be anywhere from $5 or $6 a payment, depending on
$8.
$8 a pay. I mean, that's, $30-$40 that you're saving, if you will.
Right.
But even just that little additional payment that you're making, if you can't make the full payment, then, add $50 so that at the end you're only doing, 7 payments versus 9 or whatever the case may be.
Definitely. The other thing is low mileage. A lot of the carriers have gotten away from, some carriers, you won't even see a low mileage discount on your policy, but almost all the carriers check your inspection records for your vehicle, and
Right.
that's where they pull your mileage information.
Okay.
Not all of them do that, but probably 90% of them do that.
Wow.
So look at what your policy says for your annual mileage. If you feel it's incorrect, give us a call. Again, most of them take it from your inspection,
Yeah.
but there is a time period like when your policy renews versus when your inspection is where it could be missed.
Right.
So that's something that you can look at
Right.
too.
And make sure you get your inspection done when you're supposed to, because that's how
Correct.
they're gauging that information.
Correct. And lastly, we have a lot of great insurance companies that we work with that are very supportive of different charities in Massachusetts. We have one carrier that if you make a donation to the Pan Mass Challenge, they'll give you a discount. Another carrier, if you make a donation to the Special Olympics or the Jimmy Fund,
Yep.
they'll offer you a discount. Some people do that anyway. And if you do that, let us know because we can get you a discount with that carrier.
Right.
And then, a shameless plug for me, because I am a golfer. If you are a member of the Mass Golf Association,
Yep.
we have one carrier that will give you a discount, a 5% discount on your home and a 5% discount on your auto.
That's a lot. That can add. That's at least maybe a round or two of golf somewhere.
Correct.
Or a round or two somewhere else.
Right. So just, there's these little discounts, and, a lot of the direct writers are really good about, they have a discount for everything.
Yeah.
And some of our carriers have gotten really good about that too. But I like the ones specifically that reward you for making a donation.
Right.
And that, to me, that's a great way to get a discount.
Yeah, exactly. And we also have, I think of, one of the carriers, if you're a AAA member, you get a discount. I mean, I know that's a pretty standard one.
It used to be a much bigger discount years
not.
ago.
Okay.
Now it's a factor. They don't even call it a discount anymore.
Okay.
It's a factor.
Yeah.
That can help you if you've been a member for a very, very long
okay.
time.
All right.
It's not worth somebody going out and getting a AAA membership
Right.
today in order to get
It's
a
not
discount
gonna-
on their insurance.
All right, good
No.
to know.
Yeah.
Very good to know.
Yeah, that's not the case anymore.
So as a whole, I mean, anything else that you may have missed, I may have missed as we're talking about this, anything that jumps out to you? I mean, we're sending out flyers, right? We send out with our renewals, we're sending out flyers, kind of giving you the information as far as what's happening with the increases and why they're happening. And you can always call us. You can always reach out to us.
Please call us.
Yep.
Yeah, email, call, whatever.
Yeah, on our website, it's insuringyourway.com. You can go to the our staff page, and you can get anyone's email, anyone's direct line, and please reach out to us if you're curious as to why all of a sudden the rates are going up so much this year.
Right. And the other thing I want to remind people too, especially about their homes, if you have made changes, please let us know.
Yep.
A lot of people are getting solar panels put on their roofs. We need to know that because
Yeah.
if you own them versus you leasing them determines how we cover them on your homeowner's
Okay.
policy. A lot of people are doing that. If you've finished your basement, if you've added anything to your house, I know you're thinking it's going to cost you some money, but we just want to make sure if there's ever a problem that you are covered
Right.
adequately.
Right, because nothing is worse than you telling us after that you made this investment in your basement, or you added these solar panels to the roof, and now we have an issue.
Right.
So
Just give us a call. Keep
Yeah.
us in mind whenever you make these changes.
yeah, absolutely. All right, well that's it. I think I think we've covered just about everything that we had as far as the home and auto is concerned, and we hope we have made this fun and informative for you. And if you would please take a minute to subscribe to the podcast and share it with anyone that you think would benefit from listening to it, that would be great as well. Remember, if you're looking for insurance here in Massachusetts for your home, auto, or commercial operation, you can find us at insuringyourway.com, and of course on any of our social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Thank you, Jen, for your time today.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Local and Mighty. Have a great day.